Thank you. So welcome to the Atlanta OWASP chapter meeting. Ralph is going to keep letting folks in and just want to get us started. So OWASP is the Open Worldwide Application Security Project, a nonprofit, a global nonprofit. And our speaker today is joining us from Europe. So we're really representing how vast and diverse this community is. They support building impactful security privacy projects that are open source. So today we'll be diving into one of those projects and you guys can learn more about how to participate. So we host events to help nurture the community through educational purposes. We have some upcoming events right now on our meetup. We have the September 18th event, From Noise to Insights, Transforming Vulnerability Data by Cortez Frazier, who is at FASA. And the next few days, I'm hoping to get all the details to make the meetup for our secure code training tournament, which is really going to be more of a hands-on experience, which we have yet to do this year. So I'm excited to see how that comes about. The idea is that you can choose a coding language and you'll be given problems where the code isn't secure and you'll be working to create the secure code. So more details on that to come. Just follow our meetup page right here, meetup.com/OWASP-Atlanta, and you'll see all of our upcoming events. So if you are interested in contributing and speaking at one of our events, please email us, atlanta-leaders@owasp.org. We'd love to hear any pitches and ideas and projects you guys are working on. And of course, please consider becoming an OWASP member. Is it what, $50 a year? You can, of course, donate. Donating allows us to have food and other wonderful things to provide you all during our hybrid in-person events that we do at FanDuel. And then, of course, follow our YouTube page. We will have all of our events recorded and posted there. So if you've missed something, you can also refer back to our YouTube page and stay up to date with all of our events. And drum roll, for today's event, we have Carlos, who is the Principal Mobile Security Research Engineer at Now Secure and is a leader of the OWASP Mobile Application Security Project. So we're super excited to hear what he's been doing to update the project, ways that we all can help contribute to his project so it can keep evolving and getting more awesome over time. Yeah, we'll look into his latest developments, in particular, the mobile application security weaknesses and enumeration. So I think that's enough time for me, about 5 minutes. So I will stop sharing and let Carlos take it over. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here with you today. Thanks for the invitation once again to the chapter. So let's get into it. Not sure how everyone is familiar with the project, so I'm gonna just do a really quick intro that's outside of the slides. This is me, but I was already presented, so I'm skipping this. But you can contact me here. This is at the end again, so no worries, you will see it again. You will also get the slides. So before I get into the refactoring, just for those who don't know the project, the MAS project, Mobile Application Security Project at OWASP, is about exactly that, mobile application security, and we define the industry standard for mobile application. So if you develop mobile apps, if you test security for mobile apps, you should know about the project. I recommend you go to the page, to our website, masowas.org, and you can explore everything that we have. We have a standard for testing applications. which goes through all the different areas that are important when testing mobile applications, which are storage, cryptography, authorization, networking, platform interaction, platform being iOS, Android, code, resilience, and this is new since a couple of months, privacy. So I invite you to come to the page, download it, just look at it in the website. You can see everything online. Then you have the testing guide, which has a couple, not a couple, a lot of tests that you can use to test your mobile apps. But I'm going to tell you more about that later. You can contact us here and you will find all the talks over here. So if you want to know more about the project, you can watch the previous talks. So go for it. All right. So this project, I'm in the project since 2017 or something like that, and a lot has changed. We have been refactoring the whole project. Like this was a huge effort from the community and industry. We have a lot of people involved, and not only for the community, like individuals, you can see here organizations that are involved, that are using the standard, that are referring to the standard, and things like that. We have companies like my company that is contributing, not just with, let's say, with money, with donations, but, you know, giving me time to work on the project and yeah, make things happen. So this is for the project, the best way that companies can contribute, which is putting people to work. So you're in a company and your company can give you time to work on open source and such a nice project as this one, you can get in contact and we can talk. So let's go to the refactoring. The MASTG, which is a testing guide, contains a lot of things: tests, tools, techniques. We have apps that we reference. We have a lot of things. So let's take a look and let's see how this works with the MASWE, which is the standard. This is the architecture. And on one side, you have the standard, the MASWE. It has many controls telling you things like storage of information should be or must be secure, networking, communication must be secure, and things like that. Very high level. And then you would wonder how to test for this. So then you have the testing guide, having a lot of tests. This is how it has been until now. And then you will find that we have techniques. The techniques use tools. We have some reference apps, and then we have a lot of knowledge. So the MASTG is a place for you to learn about mobile security, about the Android system, the iOS system, how does storage work, how does the networking communication work, and things like that. And then you have the tests. So it is a learning resource, but it is also for professionals. So you can use it to test your apps, follow the steps, and things like that. It has been, as I said, for many years there, but we have been making it better with time. And the latest update that we did is we used to have it more like a book with a lot of chapters and all things together in the chapters. And what we recently did, and that's why we call this like the refactoring, is because indeed we treated it like software. And we put these components like techniques, they live in a folder techniques, and they live in a section techniques. So if you go here, you go to the MASTG, you see techniques, and you go there, and these are all the techniques that you can use when testing mobile applications. Each and every of them have a dedicated page. You can find also for the different platforms, for iOS, Android. There is networking techniques as well. You can sort here, like this is common for both and things like that. So imagine, I don't know, method hooking, you come here, and then you have a lot of details here. how to perform method hooking on iOS. You have this to remind you that this was for iOS, and you can also explore here in the menu. So the same goes with tools, for instance, over here, but a lot of tools that you can use on both platforms, or here specific to iOS and for Android. And this is great because then you have one place where you can find all the information about that tool, about that technique, and so on. And this gets updated with time. The other cool thing is this, as you can maybe imagine from this, things are interconnected. That means when you go, you saw I went to, sorry, here, to some of the techniques like method hooking, you see that this is linked to other things, like this is referring to execution tracing, this is referring to, well, this one doesn't have all the references, but this one, for instance, this technique is referring to a tool. You can go read about the tool, you can come back, and so on. So at least for me, this is much more fun than just reading a PDF that I think currently it has like more than 800 pages. So we developed the website to be very interactive. And before, like some couple of years ago, we just used to have a PDF actually, and all the content in GitHub. So yeah, we were working very hard to make this happen, and I'm happy to share it with you today. So, but this is about what we kind of already have. Again, it's just because we introduced these icons. So I wanted to bring it up here to make things easier to detect and know where you are. So when you see those icons, you know this is an app, this is a tool, this is a technique, and so on. And this is an update on things like those tables I just showed you before. They used to be separate, but now we put them together. So now you can search across, for instance, all the techniques. So you can say, okay, like, I don't know, app, package, things about package. Okay. Useful. So this is what we had until now, but recently, and I did a spoiler already because I show you the website, but we introduced a new component in this MAS world. And how many of you know about CWEs? I know probably you cannot answer, but I bet most of you, if you are somehow into security, you have heard, you have used, you have seen CWEs. These are the common weakness enumerations. You find them referenced in CVEs, for instance, when you see vulnerabilities. So this is I think this is great. It's a common language to define weaknesses in applications. So what we did is we didn't create new ones, but we created our own ones for mobile security. So now when you go to our website, you will find the exact mobile application security weaknesses specific to mobile. Again, here, just showing you. Again, this is great because you have now one place to go. And all the information about that weakness is going to be there with descriptions, with references, with impact, and things like that. So I'm going to show you how that looks in a minute. So what this means for the project is that we have now this interface here in the middle between the security controls and the tests. The weaknesses with their enumerations, and then we introduce a new thing that I'm really excited about, which are the demos for tests. We'll see about this later. So now you saw we have the MASVS, we have the MASTG. Now we have this MASWE in the middle. And this is extremely exciting for the industry and for the community, because from now on, this is already available. It's in beta, but you can already use it. You can already reference to it. And if you want to know more in detail, please access this blog post that explains everything that I'm explaining today, but in a blog post. So it's an easy read, it's not really long. So how does it work? We have a control from the MASVS. This one says the app employs current strong cryptography and uses it according to industry best practices. That is great, but it's very generic, right? So, okay, but why? What exactly? How? Right. So one thing that is related to that, one of the weaknesses is maybe you're using bad random numbers. That's one. And then you say, okay, but I need to validate that in apps. How I do that? We have tests. The test number one will tell you test for insecure random API usage. Will describe you what that API usage means, which APIs and things like that. Then the test number two is going to have testing for non-random sources usage. It's going to explain you that you might be thinking you're using something that is random, but it's not. Maybe you are just using some get me the date and derive some number from the date because you think it's random enough, but it is not. So the test is going to explain all of this actually. And then each of the tests, it doesn't just stop there. It's going to explain you everything, but it also gives you links to demos. And this is the new thing that I'm also really excited about, because these demos will come with code and testing scripts and sample outputs and things like that. So no worries, we will get into this in a minute. So the weaknesses, they have, if you see the overview, you will see that they have the IDs, the titles, the platform where they apply. They mostly apply to both platforms. However, there are certain weaknesses that you can only find on Android or on iOS. So you will see that, but mostly we try to make them as general as possible. So we cover the same weakness in both platforms. Then you have the MASVS ID. So you will see that it relates to authorization or cryptography or the platform interaction network and so on. Then you have the profiles. Before they used to be called levels, like level 1, level 2. We had R. We introduced a new one, P. So now we call them profiles, and we expect this list of profiles to grow. And what this is basically telling you is that maybe you have a very low risk app that is not using a lot of sensitive information, doesn't have a lot of sensitive functionality. You don't have business assets to protect and things like that. So it's like the bare minimum. You can use level 1, and then you can pick exactly those weaknesses and the related tests and test for that. If your app is more advanced, you might need for advanced protection level 2, and then you would have to test for all of those. Then of course, maybe you are testing a very, very specific app that doesn't require, I don't know, maybe it doesn't have logging. So anything that is about logging, you can get it out, of course. But this is the general recommendation and the testing profiles that we provide. And then we have the status column. So if you go to the website, you can click there, and I'm just going to show you that. So you see that we have some that are new. That means if you open them, you can read everything. This is finished. But if you see one that is draft, this means this is to be done. But you can do it if you want. You can come here and say, hey, I want to get this assigned. This one is already assigned. But if it's not, you can ask us to assign it to you, and you can work on it. I will also show you that later in the slides, how you can also edit it right away. Then we have the, well, this is the detailed view on each of the weaknesses that are completed. So what the weaknesses are telling you is what's bad. So you have an overview about the weakness. What can happen if my app has this weakness? How can this happen? So how maybe the developer introduced this. So these are the modes of introduction. This one specifically, maybe the data is stored encrypted, or you have some hard-coded keys, or there are many ways that this can happen. And this is going to be related to how we are going to test for the weakness in the end. And then, of course, you have how to fix it and links to the tests. Then we have the tests. So now we are in a test. And what is a test giving you? Why, what, and why we are testing for this? Steps. You see, this one has 2 steps and how to test that. An observation, which is the output of the test. So you will run all those steps with the tools and techniques that we indicate. You may alternative use other tools probably. And then you are going to get some output. And in the end, we're going to tell you, okay, this is how you need to evaluate that. So the test is going to fail if these things happen. And then we have some links to the demos. And the demos will contain code and so on, as I told you before. So the demos are like, okay, let's take this test, let's take an actual app and do it and demonstrate it with that app. So to contribute, as I said before, you have some weaknesses that are completed, others that are in draft. And the easiest way, like if you see one that is completed or in draft, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're reading this one and you see a typo. So you can click here and you go to GitHub and then you can edit it. Alternatively, you can do it, of course, offline, like on your VS Code, edit it there, open a pull request. But if it's a minor thing like a typo or something like that, you can do it this way. If you see one that it's in draft, like this one, right? So you can do the same. You can also click on it. You see that we have some warnings here and some hints on what is this weakness and how you could write about it. There are references. There are links to the previous tests, like we had version 1 of the MASTG and now we have version 2. So these are links to the version 1 tests. So with this, you should have enough information to write about the weakness. And if you want to do that, you can do the same. Just open it here and you can start writing right away. And maybe then you want to continue doing it on your desktop. What is important is that you get assigned the issues, because we have like hundreds of issues. So, so we know you want to work on that one. For that, you can write in the issue and say, hey, Carlos, please assign this one to me. Like it will be this one here. Again, this one is also assigned, but there are many that aren't assigned. So you can get one and author this content yourself. Write in the issue again, or just reach out on Slack, however you prefer. There are some guidelines, so I recommend you to take a look at the guidelines, because they will tell you how to write a weakness, how to write the overview, the steps, and things like that. So the MASWE is already available in beta, as I showed you in the website. So you can access the QR code, URL. And yeah, if you have any feedback, just if you're not directly contributing, but you want to discuss something or whatever, feel free to open an issue or in GitHub or reach out in Slack. So let's take a look at the demos. Told you I was very excited. You will see why. So the demos, they have code. I promise you code. So let's go to and open one of them. MASTG demos. And let's pick, these are all ready. So these are not like there are draft and no draft. The ones you see here, they are already ready to go. So The demos have always samples, and this one specifically is already telling you what the snippet that you have below was more than snippet, is a whole file, and that is important, as you will see later. So it's telling you what it is doing, and then you see this is a Kotlin file, and this is opening this file. It's going to write that file to the external storage, and that's what it's basically doing. It's writing a file with this content to the external storage and with this name. And then here we're following the steps. So there is a test associated with this demo, which you can always see here. And we are just following exactly the same steps from the test, but exactly with this code. And what we did is we took this code, we compile it into an app, and we reverse engineer it. And what that means is that it's going to look a bit different because, well, in this case, it's Android. So it's Kotlin. It's going to reverse engineer into Java. This is not the case on iOS. That's a bit more complicated. But this one is okay. So now it looks like this. Looks almost the same, right? That's good. But if it's obfuscated, it's not going to look that similar, but still you will be able to follow. So then we say, okay, the test recommended to do static analysis. So we're going to use this tool, SemGrep, and we are going to write a rule. It's called a rule, like what you're going to enter there as like patterns to search for certain APIs, method calls, and things like that. So this is what we did here. We've written this rule, and you see all the patterns there, like all the relevant APIs. And if you keep scrolling, we have another one here that is looking for relevant attributes and permissions, which are these. And then we have the run code. So we can take this, just run it. It's going to use this rule, and it's going to analyze this code, the reverse engineer version of this code. Why this one? Because that's what an attacker is going to do. So that's why we are not analyzing this one. That is the original code, because we assume you don't have the original code, but you have downloaded the app from somewhere, and as an attacker, you're going to reverse it and you're going to run these rules. So in the end, you will get this output after running the first one, and this output after running the second one. And this is the evaluation. So it's telling you, indeed, this test is failing because we found this, which tells us the app can indeed write everywhere in the external storage. And the app is using this API. So it's writing to the external storage. And if you analyze it, then you will see that it's a password, what is written in that file and things like that. So this is demonstrating all of that. And the cool thing is that this is, it looks like static site, but it's not. These are all files, like real files. So if you go to GitHub or if you git clone, you will see that you can open everything in your VS Code, and you see everything is in a folder. Each demo has a folder with the markdown, the Kotlin file, the output, the test, everything is there. The rules are in another folder, and everything is there. So you can open it, you can modify it, play with it. And you can use our apps. This is mandatory, but mandatory good. So we created these two apps, one for Android and one for iOS, and we put it as mandatory because then you will see in the next slides what happens. But just because you can now copy paste, you can go to the next one. You can copy, paste, run. You can copy from the demo, paste it, the same code in Android Studio or in Xcode, and run the app. Just going to show you that right now. get the original code. That's why also we include the original code. Copy it over here. Then we go to Android Studio, and it's the exact same file, MASTG test Kotlin, MASTG test Kotlin. So whatever was in there, can just get rid of it, paste it, and run. Starting the emulator. And there we go. We could click here. Well, error. That's expected because we haven't given this permission. We can go give the permission and it is going to work. So this means you can reuse this app. You can copy paste wherever you see over here and play with it right away here. Imagine you want to experiment with this specific weakness and you want to tweak the code yourself to try some edge case or something you have on your mind. Now you have a playground to do that yourself without any additional effort. And you know it's going to work. But this is better because we're using now GitHub Actions. So what we do is we take the demos, the Kotlin file, the Android manifest, put it together with these test apps in our pipelines, build the APKs, and then as you see later, we're going to also test them in the pipeline, but that's not yet available. So that means, and this is a screenshot from the actual the actual pipelines that we have, you see that the pipeline is building a lot of APKs that then you have available. You can download them and you can also open these APKs in Android Studio, for instance. You can run the tests against those APKs and you can inspect the code. So let me just show you over here. When you download it, you can unzip it. So each APK, if you're not familiar with mobile apps, you can just unzip it. It's a zip file. And Android Studio allows you to open that as well. You can just open the APK. You don't have to unzip it actually to open it here. And you can already see this called the disassembly code of the app. So you can inspect that. You can also click on play and it's gonna also run on the emulator without you doing anything special. And then you can use that also to test things like our dynamic test. This is a tool called Frida, which is extremely cool. And it allows you to do method hooking and all the things that are part of the dynamic analysis. So this is included in our test. So we have static tests, we have dynamic tests. So you can go and you see here, I just ran the course after installing Frida, but you can run the code right away with that APK that you just downloaded. And that is really cool because we are removing a lot of obstacles. You can also see like what we just did. You can inspect that here. Like actually, you saw that I ran the app and then I can go Device Explorer. This was about storage. So I can use the Device Explorer, go into this is all explained in the MASTG, by the way. And you can go to the path that it tells you, like it was in the SD card and here, secret, see? You can open it and see this is exactly we told it to right there. Imagine that would have been a password. But this is how you can also validate. So yeah, before we go into the questions, I would like to let you know about this. So we have a special role in the project, which is MAS advocates. Currently, we only have Now Secure. This means the company puts people to work. As I said before, they give them time to work on the project. So if your company it's willing to do that, let us know, and you will get listed across all of our MAS advocates. And also, I want to let you know that we founded the MAS Task Force group. This is a group for of industry experts. So we have currently, I don't know, around 8 companies, leaders in the industry, working together on this. So this is not just the community, but also professionals. I mean, professionals from the community and professionals from the industry, all working together on this. We started a couple of months ago, and as you can see, there is already a lot of work that has been done in terms of weaknesses, tests, demos, and so on. And that's going to continue this year, probably next year. So if your company would like also to be here, this is important that is experts in security, not just mobile security, but at least cyber security in general. And you can apply and we will review your application. And yeah, I think this is mostly it, what I had for you today. You can follow us on, well, X and LinkedIn. And this is Sven, by the way. We are 2 leaders in the project, so you can contact either of us. Go to our website to find more contact information, explore everything, and yeah, we will be happy to have you in the project and help you get started. Here are some references, and now I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carlos. That beautiful work, and the documentation, I think, is top tier for open source projects. I loved how you had the tools associated with the techniques and the reasoning. So even if you're new to this, it's really simple to understand.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys can put your questions in the chat. You can unmute yourself, introduce yourself if you'd like to also speak your question. Someone asked, are there any group activities for this in Slack, being a member of the OWASP?
So you can, let me go to the website. You can come here and you find our Slack channel over here. You can request an invitation. If that doesn't work for some reason, just reach out directly to me or Sven in one of the many possibilities here, and we will make that happen. But yeah, we have a Slack group. You can join, you can contact us also individually, but yeah, there is a team over there.
Thanks, Carlos. This is Johar here. I do work as a senior security engineer. I specifically follow on mobile side. I was not joined from the starting, so I might have missed a lot of things. So is this more like for a contribution into the mobile security from the OWASP side? And what are all the outcomes expecting after this session?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What is the outcome that expected after this session? Like more contribution to the OWASP for the mobile security, or is there anything else?
So yeah, 2 things. Feedback is also always great. So please go to the website, look around, explore the new weaknesses, explore the tests, the demos, everything, and give us feedback. You can always go to our repo, and we have the GitHub discussions over here. You can open a new one, ask something, or just say here how you love it. And we'll be happy to answer. And of course, we want as many contributions as possible. So if you would like to contribute, let us know. Don't let anything stop you, because we can make that happen really quick. And as I was showing you before, it can be as easy as you see a typo, you click here and you start writing and send it. Can be as easy as that.
I get it.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, Carlos, I'd like to add that the point of bringing this talk is for people to actually use it, to leverage it. All you mobile developers, all you people in security, as a chapter, we are here to bring quality content, to bring all these innovative and folks that are on the forefront, folks that are really helping to secure software all across the world. So this is one of many projects that we hope you can leverage. So if you have any questions and anything like that, like definitely reach out to Carlos. Definitely reach out to any of us, any chapter leaders, or any of us in the respective OWASP Slack channels. We're here to help you.
Absolutely. Go and use it, because you're gonna see that how easy it can get. That you can learn a lot, but that you can professionally use it as well. So this is meant for professionals, and this is meant for beginners as well. So if you're starting in mobile security, here, this is the place, because we have all the information that you need. You can just open the MASTG and start reading here, intro, general concepts, and then go deeper and deeper and deeper and explore everything. So this is the resource for mobile security. And I forgot to mention this before, but if you go here, you will see that the Android mention, this is being used by Google. So the apps that you have, if you have an Android phone, they are being analyzed using the MASWE. This is everything here. So you can read about the program here in the MASA. This is official. And when you go to and inspect, go to Google Play and see that they have this data safety section, and some of the apps, they have a special badge for security. They have been tested using the OWASP MASWE.
Awesome. People were asking for your contact page again. We put the links in to, but if you don't mind going back so people can see it. I had a question. So you mentioned the tools, Xcode and Android Studio. Would you recommend that people can also just do this on their own mobile device or an old one? Or would you think that they should stick to Xcode or Android Studio?
So if you're developing apps, you're going to use for Android, the Android Studio, for iOS, Xcode. So there's practically no way around that. But that's good. They are good tools to develop that. But you don't need them if you just want to test the app itself. So what I've shown is like you really want to go deeper. You want to open it over there, and you want to also use our demos as a playground for you to test different vulnerabilities and things like that. So imagine if I just change this one variable, what would it happen? And this is really useful because if you're into mobile already, you may know, for instance, on Android, things change across versions a lot. So just having some code that you know it works and just being to tweak a variable and test it in another version of Android, that's extremely useful.
Thank you. Karan, you have your hand raised. Do you want to speak?
Oh, yeah. Hey, how are you doing today?
Sorry, say
Hello.
that.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Oh, perfect. How are you, first of all? How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you.
Okay, so basically, one of my questions which I wanted to connect is people are moving towards LLMs. So LLMs in mobile, people are learning those skills. What's your call over it?
So LLMs, they're can tell you that it's not here yet. So you can see in privacy, we just have one weakness for now. Privacy is being currently developed. So whatever you see in the other categories, they are all the weaknesses that we are already considering. However, one note, if you know about other weakness or you think something is not being considered, this is in beta. It's everywhere, content in beta. So you may suggest something new. You may suggest also splitting them up and things like that. So this is still open, but this is already a version that has we decided to publish already because we had it in the works for, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years already. But this is ready to work. That's why we're now doing that. However, privacy, we introduced privacy, let's say very recently, like a couple of months ago, into the MASVS. So very new topic. LLMs, AI, we treat that as an emerging technology. This is the risk associated, especially in privacy. So we will probably introduce some weaknesses related to that, like at least use of LLMs or something like that. Then we're gonna have also tests associated and demos and everything.
Got it. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Carlos, one thing I would like to add is that we also have projects, OWASP projects that specifically focus on LLM security. Dropping one of our incubator projects, which is the LLM security verification standard, as well as the OWASP top 10 for LLM security. So I know there's like a lot of crossovers across the mobile security, the API security, the LM specific security, and all of them are using it in the same product. So definitely think folks should check out the different projects and the overlap, because I know that you all are a much more mature project compared to the LLM project. So
right, and that's a very good point, because one thing that we did, we had a very big overlap with the ASVS in the past. You see that we have authorization here, and we had a lot of controls and tests that were about things that happen in the backend. And we said, but wait a minute, if the ASVS is already doing that, why are we doing that? Why don't we just cut where the app ends or up until the middle of the communication? There might be some things you can do man in the middle and check over there. So we can still do that and consider it. But basically, what can we do from the app to protect the app? Because it doesn't, like, if you're testing the app and you report things from the backend, maybe the developer is not in charge of the backend, so they cannot really fix it. So we're separating those concerns to ensure that you get all the things that are mobile specific. And that's what you're gonna find here in the authorization category. And what we do is, whenever there is something that is about the backend, we're going to link you to the ASVS. Whenever there is something about the app architecture, the security posture, things like that, we're going to link you to SAM. If there is AI, we're going to link you to the AI LLM projects. So this is something that we consider in all of this refactoring. We don't want to have any overlaps, and we want to have connections and references and cross references across OWASP projects, but also other projects or standards. Like for crypto, we're gonna always link you to NIST documents and other relevant things, because that's just too much. We cannot cover and mobile everything. Like cryptography, it's extremely complex. So NIST is doing an excellent job. Why would we want to cover for all of these things in our project? That doesn't make any sense. We just narrow the scope down to explicitly the apps and what can happen on Android and on iOS, and that's what we give you. That's also very good for you, so you have a smaller thing to consider. And then anything else, just reach out to the other projects.
thank you.
Carlos, you have some praises in the chat. People are saying, great project. I appreciate all the efforts you've been putting up, and thank you so much. This was awesome. So we have a few more minutes. If anyone else has any more questions or praises they want to throw to Carlos's way.
Yeah, go for it.
Again here, can we get the recording for
Yes.
this session?
Yes, sir. I will, you know, Zoom takes a minute to process and then I'll download it and upload it to our YouTube. So if you subscribe to our YouTube, you'll be notified when it's there.
Cool. And second one is like, what was that page that you were referring for the SEMGREP, you know, example to detect the vulnerabilities from the session? I was just looking at the website. I'm not able to figure it out.
Yeah. So there are many ways. You can, for instance, go to one of these. These are the weaknesses, right? So you can navigate down from the weakness to the test and then to the demo. You will see that on the slides and if you rewatch the recording. But basically, this is a storage weakness and it's telling you the app might be storing unencrypted information in the private storage locations. So this is going to have a test, and you can go to the test and see, okay, now we're going to test for data that is stored in the app sandbox at runtime. This may be a problem or maybe not. It depends on how critical is the data that you have on the app. So you see here that this is describing you some techniques and all the steps that you need to do. And then you will have the demo here. And you go to the demo and you find the source code, the specific steps. In this case, we're not using SEMGREP, we're using ADB and the script. And then you have the outputs, you can see here the password. And if you go to another demo, let's see one that has SEMGREP, probably this one. Yeah, this one has that. So here you have another one, again, with the original code, the reverse code. In this case, we also include the Android manifest because it's relevant, because it has that important permission over there. Also, the reverse version of the Android manifest, which you see, it has a bit more clutter. And then you have the steps with the rules and everything. By the way, these rules, we have them all in the repo in one unique place. So you can find them in our GitHub repository. Well, you can find everything in our GitHub repository, of course. The rules are here. And right now we have this 4. This you can expect to grow with time, but basically you can also inspect them here. But what we do is for convenience in the website, we include the rules dynamically here. So you can always take a look at them. And if you want to learn about SEMGREP, you can go here. Currently, we don't have a lot of information. We just linked you to the page, but typically we have a bit more information depending on the tool. So Frida has a lot of information. It depends. So you can contribute to anything. Can be a tool, can be a typo, can be a technique, a test, whatever, creating a new weakness, anything.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Carlos. That's more, detailed way of explaining things. I will definitely look into it and I will see what could I do to add more into it.
Thank you. That'd be nice. And by the way, you can also, from the main website, just go to the MASTG, go to the demos right away. Really easy.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah.
More questions? We have 5 minutes.
I can come up with some other questions. I see there are a lot of vulnerable applications, right? But is there a single application where we consider that is damn vulnerable application which can be used to run all the test cases from the ACS or MSTG, or is it like I as someone new that I want to explore, not me, but if someone who wants to explore this, right? Should he go or she go with all the application, or is there a single application where we can execute all of these test cases?
So very good question. Right now, we have the sample applications that I show you in the slides, and you can use those and replace the code as you go, or you can go to here to the website. And this is a bit difficult to find, but this is because we're still experimenting with it. So once this is finished, it will be available in the website under each demo, so you can download the APKs and things like that. But we need time and we need help to be able to do that. But if you want to try it out, you can come here. You see this is built here. So if you scroll down, you can download the case over here. This is very, very new to the project. That's why we're still working on it, but it's already working. So if there is a new demo tomorrow, there is going to be an APK that you can download over here. And to your question, there is no one app. There might be in the future. That's why we're doing this in smaller steps. So in the future, we might say, okay, maybe we can build one app with this and this and this and this and combine randomly, and then we create like crack me app and things like that. It's gonna be possible, yes.
Got it.
But now, and
Thanks.
absolutely, this is very important. Why we do this is because also it is very interesting to test these weaknesses isolated in a small APK, in a small APA. That's gonna help you if you're starting learning reverse engineering and things like that. It's gonna be easier. So it's actually a good thing. And then later we can expand it.
Sure, got it.
We have another question.
Yeah, hi. My name is Kinjal, and I would like to ask, like, is it possible to get any sample report for I can see the MASTG and all guidelines. So, is there any a sample report we can get it to cover the how to test the application like that way, like for mobile application?
So maybe you mean something like our checklists here?
No, I am I am in cybersecurity and doing mobile application security testing. So I can refer the MASTG guideline for testing my application. But is there any report we can get as a sample which cover all the MASTG guideline?
I would say no, because, well, the report is the work from the companies that are testing. So we don't provide reports per se or templates like that. We provide you with the controls, the tests, and the checklists as well.
Yeah, so I was thinking if we can get any a sample report or dummy report, I could say we can go through that way, which can help us. Yeah.
I would say that the closest thing to what you're asking is this, like you could download the checklist, it's an Excel file, and then you can mark pass, fail, everything on there.
Yeah, okay.
That could be something. Just one warning, since because or due to all these changes we are doing going to version 2, this is still using version 1. So this is gonna be ready yet for version 2, mainly because 2 doesn't exist in full yet, but this is gonna exist also in the future for version 2. But you can test version 1 as well.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I guess we're on time. Thank you. So many questions. I love that. Please feel free to reach out offline.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward, Carlos, I'm looking forward to connect you in Slack. I have couple of points to discuss further.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
And thanks to the chapter for having me. Again, thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in September. And Carlos, we'll be in touch also. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.